So now you've done your painting, we're ready to get on with that quilting. We're going to be doing a lot of spirals this block, so I hope you're getting your number 6 ready. So now we're in that sewing room and I've ironed my block and I've sandwiched my block and it looks like I've done my ditching already. Gosh, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm already up to the outside there. I'm going around for the 3rd time. So we need to have that 3rd row of stitching and then I'm going to sneak back in. There we go. Starting off on that reed, I've given myself a centre line with my panda pencil and then I'm creating kind of an S shape like my zebra flames to give us some texture on that reed because I think his legs are going to stay fairly plain, so we want a fair bit of stitching in some of the other areas. This is my zebra flame design being used to create a leaf kind of pattern. Now it looks like I've already decided on the background it's going to be a series of spirals, so while I was there in that burgundy area I've already started on the background stitching. And for the water I'm giving it a fairly simple treatment of verticals followed by horizontals. Okay, just following the lines of those sections of the water. Keeping it nice and simple, that 2nd reed has just got some echoing because it's going to be tricky to work in and amongst all those little toes. So I wanted a design that would just be as easy as possible to work in amongst those shapes. Like if I had tried to do the other pattern in there, that would have been a bit of a disaster, quite frankly. So I've gone around his eyeball and then given us a 2nd time around just to echo that eye and have it really stand out. But at this stage I'm still thinking the body of the frog is going to stay unquilted. Now a few little spots there with my panda pencil, I've sort of thought of those spots as stars, placement of stars, and then I'm doing some pretty tight spirals around each one and then just echoing to be able to move to the next area. So making sure all those spaces are filled in with fairly tight quilting. This is all about less than 1/4 of an inch. It's actually quite small, this kind of quilting. So you go whatever size you'd like to do, but that'll really help it push to the background and give that lovely starry night texture. But you can see I keep using the ditch of the other elements to travel and to have those spirals join on, because if they've joined on into the ditch it will make them sit back behind those elements. So you can see it quite clearly there on that dragonfly. That spiraling does look like it's behind him now. So sometimes there has to be half a spiral or part of a spiral because it is the background. So think of it as wallpaper in the background. So only, parts of the design are being seen at any one time. So I just checked that I had the right water pattern in the right section so that it links up from one side of the block to the other with the either horizontal or the vertical. Pretty simple treatment, but it is very small areas, so it just needs that texture, and that really fine quilting is going to help push it to the background. Now a bit of extra texture on the water lily. Just going with the shapes of the water lily. Now you can see with the water here, that section curves around the bottom of the water lily. So I'm going to have that patterning continue. You can see I've avoided it right now, but I will get back to it in a minute. There we go. Continue those vertical lines. Always going into that ditch to make that the end of those lines disappear. A few more verticals in that section just to make it make sense visually. And then on this section we're just going to stick with the horizontal lines because it is quite tricky in amongst the petal shapes, and again it just helps push all that to the distance as it goes. Horizontal lines imply the horizon. So that just helps in that area there. Little section there I obviously missed. Get that one done. So all these extra details will be on the quilting chart, of course. A few jump stitches there which I have to cut away before I do any background work. And this bottom one is the horizontal, so we're going to have it curve with that shape that's there. And then melding towards the edge where you've got that slight rick-rack S-bend. So for this block, it looks like I've left most of the major elements fairly plain so that they really stand up and push to the front. So we've got our froggy, lily, our dragonfly and our lily pad all coming forward and being the features of this block. So now we're ready to do the background quilting on our Latenight Bloomer. So you can see here I have drawn around that 12-inch template again to identify the area of our block, and then I've launched on into some spiral quilting just to repeat the design in the background of the froggy, and I do like the way the spirals kind of look like the ripples on a pond, so it's just keeping that whole sort of pond theme going. Just make sure you stitch over the edge so that we know it's going to be absolutely fine when it comes time to piece our blocks together. You can see there, sometimes I just fake it with a little bit of repeating of the element that just makes it look like it's finished. Look at that, it's only a quarter of a spiral. Now it looks like that design continues beyond the boundaries. There you go, plenty of practice for your spirals. It's quite mesmerising to watch. So anyway, jump on in, give it a go, magicians. I know you can do some magic. So how did you go with our froggy block, magicians? Here's mine all finished with all those spirals to practice. Okay, I hope you had a good time with that one. He's rather cute. I hope he doesn't eat that dragonfly. Now, some of you have joined me for my Flower Power Quilt-a-long. It's been a free quilt-along which you can access through my YouTube channel. It's got 9 flower blocks and it comes together as a Flower Power quilt. So you might like to jump in and grab those videos. They're free to access at any time, and the patterns are on my Facebook page in the photo album, or you can purchase them for $0 on my website. So a bit more fun for you during this isolation period. So I hope you can join us. So I hope you had fun with your froggy block, and we'll see you next month, magicians. See you later. Bye.